will work for anyone else, completely experimental if tried. Well, and right in there, you say the exact right thing. There's no evidence that it will work for anyone else. And there are
Hmm.
people out there whose job is to find the evidence for or against that. And those people are us. Well, actually, we don't do randomized control trials. Maybe you do in your new work, but anyways, I wouldn't
No,
touch
I don't
it
know.
because I'm
Yeah.
preclinical. But the point remains the same, that a researcher's job is to do that. And in a lot of cases, just
Hmm.
to quickly debunk the big pharma thing, people act like, discovering new drugs is completely profit driven. Most of the time, it's some schlump that's
Yeah.
not getting paid jack shit that's doing most of the actual work. And we want to develop this uh, type of research that supports that sort of thing. So,
Yeah, I think
um,
it's also such a like I know that obviously like conspiracy theories beep bop boop, but like it's such a
mhm.
US bias in my opinion to be like the pharmaceutical companies because it's like the
Well,
US.
I mean,
Well, because the US is such a profit driven environment,
and
right? So
litigious.
yeah, so they're like, oh, like the government is subsidizing the pharmaceutical companies taking advantage of us, blah blah blah. And it's like,
Hmm.
and that's where these conspiracy theories come from. And I was like, well, in countries with universalized healthcare, they also come up with drugs, right? Like it's not that deep.
Right.
Negativity bias. Sorry, I'm
Absolutely.
just googling this because I
That's
mean
okay.
these words I've seen them together before, but I want to know exactly what we're talking about here.
So there's still some old school doctors who deny fibromyalgia. I know plenty of people that work in medicine that deny fibromyalgia because it's hard to understand, and we don't like things that are hard to understand as a
Hmm.
species, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, negativity bias is the psychological tendency to give more weight, attention, and memory to negative experiences. Yes, this is true. I think we see it like the most common example of this is like when you are in, a social media space kind of like we are now and people are being negative, for instance, in your comment section, you're going to
mhm,
hyper focus on those negative comments as opposed to.
absolutely.
And I think it's like that's definitely like a threat assessment thing. Like that's definitely your territory, behavioral psychology.
100%. So, from a behavioral perspective and from a neuroscience perspective, and from an evolutionary perspective, it is far easier to condition a response or to attend to stimuli that are threatening or fear inducing or any of those sorts of things. And you could see why, right? Like if we are told in the news this thing could make you die, like don't drink the milk because it's whatever, and that might kill you or your progeny or make you sterile or whatever threat, we're more likely to attend to that because it fundamentally could reduce us, and our biological
Well,
imperative would not be met,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And I
And
think
that happens
like
in your brain. Your amygdala
yeah.
reacts differently to negative stimuli. You're far more likely to have robust responding
Mhm.
that's resistant to what we call extinction. So if you were to condition a rat to click a lever to get drug or treat or something like that, teach them, and they
Mhm.
learn that association, and then you stop giving them the treat in response to it, they would still continue responding more if that response were to be associated with a avoidance of a negative stimulus. So,
Yeah.
like, say they could click it to stop a shock from happening. Rather, they would be much, much, much more likely to keep responding for the avoiding the bad thing than they would to get the good thing. And that is robust historical data.
Yeah.
So yes, that's
Well,
true.
and I think like also when it comes to humans, right? Like humans
Hmm.
and you know, most mammals for some part are like social creatures, right? So the tiger in the bush is
Absolutely.
also a social thing. And so
Absolutely.
you like social rejection is like one of the like most emotionally painful things that can happen to a human. So that sort of
Absolutely.
that negativity bias is like okay, it's our brain trying to like learn from that and like
Hmm.
run away from that as much as humanly possible. So it's like, okay, what did I do to elicit this negative reaction and how do I not do that? Um
Right. Well, you can see again why, like, it just the thought test of it. If you Tiger in the Bush, if you don't survive Tiger in the Bush, if you don't attend selectively to Tiger in the Bush,
Mhm.
you might not be alive for Berry in the Tree, right? Whereas if you miss Berry in the Tree, it's going to be fine, right? Like it is
Yeah,
that
that's fair.
simple.
I'm loving Tiger in the Bush bear. That that should be her new logo. It's just Tiger in the bush,
Tiger in the Bush,
berry in the
Berry in
tree.
the Tree. TTT, I love
Thank
that.
you. Who do we have to give intellectual property rights to? Who came up with who said
That would
Tiger
be
in the
better
Bush?
off, Ted.
Thank you for Tiger in the Bush. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
It
And
also just
third
sat.
lines, hello,
Mhm.
welcome in. We have another first time chatter. What are we doing today? We are talking about wellness and health and misinformation. So, anyways.
Also, I just want to say it's very. I love that also Tiger in the Bush and Berry in the Tree has like those bush and tree are like the last two syllables like the last of our last names too. So it's like, yeah.
I didn't even think
That's
of
kind
that.
I
I
don't
love
know why that
that.
came into my head, but that's so funny. Okay. Anyways.
I'm the bush and you're the tree.
Yeah. Oh god, okay. That's the opposite though. You're like so much taller
Right.
than
I am
me.
tall. You have big hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Regarding the the big pharma conspiracy theorist stuff, it's funny they hold devices against pharmaceutical companies yet they don't hold supplement. Thank you. This will get us back on track, honestly, because we
Yeah. Big T. Big T.
well, like the wellness grifting. So the wellness industry is like, and this is something I feel like I've seen more and more in my reels and my social media. Is the wellness industry is worth like billions of dollars more than
Trillions. Trillions.
than the pharmaceutical industry is.
Hmm.
And
And it's unregulated.
it's unregulated. There's again, this evidence-based medicine does not exist for these like supplements. Like I don't know, like I feel like it's everything under the sun, right? So there's like supplements, powders you put like your creatine that you put in your freaking
Hmm.
smoothie, and your everything has
Hmm.
protein in it now, and your beef
Oh my God.
tallow and your coffee enemas. And you're just like, and it's like this is
Yeah.
not real life. Like what are we doing?
Couldn't agree more. Yeah.
And it's crazy because I'm like coffee enemas. It's like you're putting caffeine into your through your blood brain, like not blood brain barrier, excuse me, the mucosa in your
Hmm.
anus and in your colon is highly absorbent. I don't know who went to college, but butt chugging a beer, I don't know if anyone remembers people talking about that. Thank God I've never done this, but I've heard of people doing it. I mean, you get very, very drunk from butt chugging a beer. You're just drinking coffee up your ass. Of course you feel more energetic. Of course you feel better. You were tired, now you're not tired. Like, are you for real right now? And everyone's like, it's.
Yeah. Also, like, I'm sorry, but any kind of action in the opposite direction of usual for down there, I think, is going to make you just generally more alert because that's not usually how things happen down there.
Yes.
So,
You're like, you just like, you're actively trying to relax, but you're all stressed out.
one of the ways to prevent, like, if you're drowsy and you're trying to stay awake, one of the ways to do so is to clench your anal sphincter.
Hmm. I did
It's
not.
a
That's real.
vasovagal thing.
Oh, interesting.
It's a sympathetic nervous system thing. It
What?
won't work in perpetuity, but
Yeah.
yeah.
What about Kegels? Yes, no, maybe so.
What about Kegels? I, I haven't
Sit. You don't
ran
know.
the numbers on
Okay,
Kegels.
okay. Just curious.
I feel anything that, if you were concertedly trying to like move your ears or do any sort of
Yeah.
like focused attention sort
Mm-hmm.
of thing, that would be likely to keep you awake. But honestly, yeah, I don't know the data on that. But
I'm doing my
that's all
Kegels right
I'm gonna say
now.
about that. We could be. No one knows.
I'm doing them right
No
now.
one
You can't
knows.
even tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, what I was gonna say. Oh, what was I gonna say? It was something about not about coffee enemas. Oh, the supplement companies. So, can we just discuss for a fucking second adaptogens? Because no,
Girl,
I
what?
hate that. Okay, adaptogens.
I have not
It's
heard
one
this.
of those, it's a wellness grifter word, and it's a very good example of when people use pseudoscientific sounding nomenclature to make up nonsense words that have no definitional criteria. It's the same thing we were talking at the very beginning. What's natural? Who gets to decide that? And, the goalposts move all the time. But they'll make up these words. They'll be like, it's an adaptogen. It's got lion's mane mushroom, and you'll never feel more calm, yet alert, yet relaxed. And it's all these contradictory things that literally
Mm-hmm.
can't happen in a human existence.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so little data for this. So an adaptogen, I think, is something they claim is
It's somebody. I think it's.
adaptogens are framed as substances that balance stress, regulate cortisol, or restore homeostasis. Marketing relies on vague biological language without clearly defined physiological endpoints. And
Okay,
yeah,
let's the one thing that's like restore homeostasis. Homeostasis is a dynamic process. What are we talking
that's
about?
exactly what I was just going to say. We are so on the same page. Yes, yes, yes.
Also,
Um,
Raffle Iron Chef said an adaptogen is a class of molecule that might affect your brain, maybe. And I'm like, yes, T. That's
Gee,
seriously.
yes. Oh my god. Literally gas station penis pill science. T. Honestly, that's so so
Yes.
so deeply true. Like it's when people co-opt things like saying homeostasis. Your body's super good at that. If you are out of homeostasis, you will be dead. Can
Yes.
dead. You'll be dead. You need homeostasis. We have like a matter of fractions, like a couple of degrees plus or minus what we usually are before you die. You have like a 7 point what 3 to 7.4
Yeah.
pH or you die.
Or like body
It,
temp as well, right? Like there's a very
yeah,
small
that's
range.
right. Yeah, there's so many things in our bodies, and that doesn't mean that our body cannot adapt to certain circumstances. That's how you get drug tolerance and a whole bunch of other things. Our bodies are miraculous machines that are very adaptable, but only within a certain realm. And because homeostasis, like you're saying, is a dynamic process,
Yeah.
if I need to be returned to homeostasis because I'm overactivated and you need to be returned to homeostasis because you're underactivated and we're taking the same adaptogen, how does that logically fucking work? It
Yeah.
doesn't, is the answer. It
Well,
just,
well, that's it. Well,
yeah,
that's it. Like, I mean, you are talking about homeostasis as a window, but I'm thinking about it as like, for instance, your autonomic nervous system is made up of like sympathetic and parasympathetic, and sympathetic turns on and off, parasympathetic turns on and off, and they work together to keep you
dynamic though.
kind of in this window, but it's like
Yeah,
this, right? So it's like
right.
to return to homeostasis, it's like where in that line are you trying to say is homeostasis? Like it
Right,
doesn't
exactly.
100% make sense. So anyway, so there's some very interesting comments that I was like looking at, and I'm like, so
Yeah.
apparently first of all, I don't know what a medbed is either. Maybe we need to talk about that. And Garcinia cambogia? What?
Garcinia cambogia is an alleged weight loss thing that Dr. Zoo or whatever was peddling.
Dr. Zoo.
Dr. Zoo?
Dr. Oz.
Dr.
Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz.
Oh no, he's just Doctor Zoo now. And that's another thing is like, why is a reality TV doctor in the like? I guess there's a reality TV as the person as the president. I guess it doesn't matter, but yeah,
Yeah.
colonics, enemas, like our body has like a natural waste reduction process, and for people to be like, we need to like mess with that is, and also I feel like sometimes it's like the wellness industry maybe is like pulling from science and they might have something that like makes sense, but then it's
Mhm.
also I mean sometimes it's also taken too far. So for instance, like people talking about what's really really popular right now in science is the gut microbiome, and people are like
Yeah.
really,
So hot right now.
it is very hot right now. I mean, people are talking about it in pain, people are talking about it in sleep, and they're talking about it's like, and I don't think we necessarily know yet if the microbiome in the gut is like causative in a lot of different conditions or if it's like
Mhm.
correlational, right? And it's, you know, your microbiota like change in
Absolutely.
concurrence with this whatever's going on in your body. However, people are like saying, I want to change this disorder. For instance, PCOS is one of the ones that I've seen it in.
Mhm.
And so what they'll do is they'll do a parasite cleanse where they are
Mhm.
ingesting parasites to
Mhm.
change the microbiome in their gut to adjust, like to change. And I'm like, the evidence does not support that yet. Like you're jumping, well, you're jumping from correlation to causation.